Next week you can see highlights from the free concert given by Barclay James Harvest for the people of Berlin on the steps of the historic Reichstag, only a short distance from the infamous wall. And that's late night in concert at the same time, 11:35, next Tuesday night. Now, what about tomorrow night on BBC1? Well, at 6:50, the Wednesday film is a comedy starring Dean Martin with a question in the title, Who's Been Sleeping in My Bed? But it has nothing whatsoever to do with Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It's all about a television personality who's having a certain amount of trouble with his weekly game of poker. At 8:30, there's another episode in the Oxford versus Cambridge obstacle race in which Bernard Falk invites the two teams to get out of that. After a party political broadcast in the 9 o'clock news at 9:10, a new series starts entitled Task Force South, The Battle for the Falklands, a retrospective on the recent South Atlantic conflict. The series is in 8 parts, and part 2 will be shown on Thursday, and then each Wednesday and Thursday evening for the next 3 weeks. At 10:05, the Royal International Horse Show, in the presence of the Queen, features the Queen Elizabeth II Cup and the King George V Gold Cup. Then at 11:10, Lord Hume, in the 20th Century Remembered, looks back at the Suez Crisis. Well, those are tomorrow night's programmes on BBC1. Now, here are the whole of tomorrow's weather prospects from Michael Fish.
Good evening to you. With a chart such as this one, it's hardly surprising. It's been a dry day over just about all parts of the country, a fair amount of sunshine around as well. And in the next few days, with the area of high pressure sitting just there to the northwest of us, it looks as if it's going to remain fine and dry just about everywhere, and quite warm as well. It isn't entirely plain sailing. There are one or two problems. For instance, this weak frontal system just brushing close to the far north of Scotland has produced a little cloud up there, and it may well continue to do so. And the area of low pressure down to the south is even more of a problem. There have been some pretty hefty thunderstorms over France during the course of this afternoon, and they may well begin to creep our way during the next few days, and southern areas may well then get some thundery showers. In fact, that possibility starting as early as tomorrow. But really, for the picture for midday tomorrow, no problems, because the area of high pressure is still the dominant theme. But there's a stiffish northeasterly breeze, you'll notice, blowing across southern parts, and that might rather spoil the day. As far as tonight's concerned, that northeasterly breeze is bringing the cloud in from the east coast, and as the night goes on, much of the southern half of the country will become increasingly cloudy, and that cloud perhaps thick enough here and there to give the odd spot of drizzle. The northern half, though, mostly dry with well-broken cloud, until that is you get to the far north, where once again there's some cloud around and the odd spot of drizzle. And then tomorrow, well, we'll find Wales and central and southern parts of the country probably starting off with a good deal of cloud, and maybe a dampish start to the day as well. But I think you'll find in most places as the day goes on that cloud will break out, and eventually the sun should come through. But perhaps near the east coast, the cloud sticking for a good part of the day, and there with the wind coming in off the sea, it will be a little bit on the cool side, although elsewhere the afternoon will end up on the warm side. Further north, it'll be another very warm day, the temperature in the mid-70s, a good deal of sunshine, until again you get to the far north of Scotland, where it'll be cooler and cloudier, with perhaps a spot or two of light rain or drizzle. And the other problem about tomorrow is in the southwestern parts and the Channel Islands, where later on in the day the cloud may increase sufficient to give just one or two showers. That's all. A very good night to you.
Well, the time now is very nearly 11:30 past midnight, and BBC1 is about to close down. Just before we do leave you, let me remind you that Radio 2 remains on the air throughout the night, and of course Gillian Reynolds is presenting round midnight all this week, and that's on the air at this very moment. So now, from all of us on BBC1, this is Clive Roslin wishing you a peaceful night and a good day tomorrow. Good night.